Yeah, VC, vinyl community. Let's arrange the screen a bit better. Let me know if you're here or not here. If you are, great. If you're not, I'll talk to myself. Live in no man's land. No man's land. Still no man's land. Oh, it's going to be fun when it's uploaded. If you watch this video. 55 seconds and nothing going on. Hey, I thought there would be nobody. I've been waiting for a minute. I guess anybody watching this on a replay later is going to wonder what's going on, but I can't talk to myself. Hello, Alan and Chris. Always nice to hang out with you people. And anyone else who wants to join? Yes. So anyway, weird, a strange music listening week for me because I've had some issues with my hi-fi, but it's just a bit of a pain in the ass, you know. So I've been playing a lot of CDs this week, but also quite a few records. So if you're here, there's 3 people here with us. I guess the more I do these live videos, the less people there are because it becomes very formulaic after a while. I'll say, well, what should we hang around with waiting for you? And you'll note the wonderful record T-shirts that was bought for me by my late wife very last Christmas, actually. Her very last Christmas. Yeah. Some records that I've been playing this afternoon, right off the bat. Why not? You know. So as I was trying to explain, this week I decided to change my cartridge, upgrade my cartridge. So I have a Ortophon 2M Blue, which works really, really well, and it's a beautiful piece of cartridge. And all I could have done was maybe just buy a replacement stylus for it, and I would have been just as happy as. But I decided, against my better judgment, to go buy an Ortophon 2M Black, which is, I mean, it's the top of the line, and it didn't really quite work out. Because I was issued a faulty cartridge, and I went to the shop twice already, and they sort of don't believe you to start with. They look at you like you're, you know, like how is it possible? But yes, it's got a lot of distortion. Like you can play 2-3 records and it plays okay, and then you got this really noticeable distortion in the vocals, in the mid-range. It's just awful. So at the start of the week, I couldn't really do very much, so I played lots of CDs, which I'm going to share with you to start with. This is La Femme, a French band, sort of indie, surf, rock, French bands. Psychotropical Berlin from 2000 and I think 13 or 14 or something. 13, I think it is. Really, really great record. Yeah, like, you know, like a modern take on surf rock with French vocals. Superb. Nobody's talking to me, but I'll talk to myself. This is like I'm doing a video. I revisited the wonderful, amazing Tas de Longue by Dongen, which I've got on CD. Now, this is the CD I bought probably in the first couple of weeks when it came out in 2005. What a mind-blowing psych record, Swedish psych record, modern psych. Amazing from start to finish. He's never done a better record. When I say he, I mean Dongen is largely one guy. His name escapes me right this second, but this is an absolutely amazing, yeah, Swedish psychedelic rock album. It sort of mixes kind of like elements of the Byrds and bit of Grateful Dead. With some modern psych, you know, it's very cool. Static Traveler, Dongen. What does it say? Like as I said, think the Byrds, kind of like a really psychedelic. Maybe the Byrds meet Hawkwind, if you like. It's very, very cool. I revisited one of my favorite indie albums from the 90s. This is, sorry for the glare, but if I don't put this in my face, you can't see anything. This is the Apples in Stereo, Fun Trick Noisemaker. I think they were a band from New Mexico, from memory. This is an absolutely fabulous record from start to finish. Fun Trick Noisemaker, indie rock. I can't say anymore. I mean, Mingus Ahum. I mean, obviously, this is a well-known album. One Charles Mingus that I don't have on vinyl, actually. I've got this on CD, but it's a very, very, very nice. I was going to say pressing, but no, it's not a pressing. It's a nice remaster. It sounds beautiful. Yes, we all know Charles Mingus. I don't need to talk about Charles Mingus too much. So Apples in Stereo at oh yes, good show. Yeah, the Apples in Stereo are great. In a completely different register, a bit of acid jazz and blue note. Saint-Germain as we would call him in France. Tourist. Saint-Germain is a French acid jazz. I didn't pay $29.95 for mine. That was just like a thrift store find. This one a while back. This is a great sort of, you know, minimal, repetitive kind of acid jazz record. Instrumental, beautiful. I mean, it's kind of like a blueprint for records of its style. It's very down tempo and it's wonderful. This was originally released in I don't think in the 90s or something, or the 2000s. I can't even place that in my mind. When it was early 2000s, maybe 2000s. Yes, wonderful Saint-Germain. And since we're on French artists, here is one of my favorite French artists from the the 70s. Christophe, you can hardly see this. It's very glary. Maybe you can see it on the side there. It's better. Christophe, Intime. So Christophe is, yeah, he made a string of really essential progressive pop albums in the 70s. I think notably Samouraï, Les Paradis Perdus, Les Mots Bleus. And in fact, on this is a live album from 2014. And just him on the piano playing like the best, basically the best songs of all these classic albums, you know, plus a couple of covers. This is wonderful, delightful. Christophe. I played a pair of local releases, Australian releases. This is a band called Love Connection. And I don't know much about them, except that they were the band that opened when Sarah and I saw the XX at the Corner Hotel in Melbourne. This band opened for them, and I liked it enough. I bought the CD, and it's actually quite cool. It's kind of like it's a little bit psychedelic, and it's indie rock. It's good. And this is a jazz album from a guy that I sort of know, not quite, Dan Sheehan. Basically, a friend of mine, that some of you may know, Christian Mizzi. That was one of his ex-bandmates, and this is like an atmospheric jazz album. It's beautiful, isn't it? The cover, the sleeve makes you want to listen to it, doesn't it? It's a trio record. Go Go Penguin. Yes, I have. Go Go Penguin is wonderful. Sorry, I'm Chris, John Coltrane, 68. You talked about this record in your recent vinyl finds, except that you actually found the record. I've got the CD. This is The Call of the Valley. Amazing Indian classical records, just beautiful, with people whose name I will not attempt to pronounce because I will just be sounding ridiculous. But anyway, beautiful. I've got this on vinyl as well, but I was stuck with CDs, so soon over Babaluma. The album that Can released after Damo Suzuki's departure. Yes, great record. The first 3 tracks are amazing. The whole thing is amazing. It's a great record. So this is the SACD version that came out in 2004, I think, when I first got it. It's a beautiful album. And then the last 3 CDs I've got there, and then I'm going to show you some records, are the 3 mythical EPs by Belle and Sebastian. 369 Seconds of Light, which is this one, Lazy Line, Painted Jane, and Belle and Sebastian. If you're a hardcore fan of Belle and Sebastian, as I am, these are sort of like cornerstones of the discography. They came out in and around the time of their 2 classic albums, If You're Feeling Sinister and Tiger Milk. Yes. Yeah, Babaluma. It's fantastic. Yes, Babaluma is. You're talking about soon over Babaluma. It's fantastic. But if you're a fan of the band, these are just really like, they could have made another like, if these were rolled into one album, let's just say, for argument's sake, it would have made a classic Belle and Sebastian album. Passer de la Bourgeoisie, beautiful. Put the book back on the shelf. Lazy Line, Painted Jane, Century of Fake is beautiful stuff, absolutely amazing. Some records that I played tonight. So tonight, hello, Glowing Cabbage. Tonight, this is an album that I love to play on Saturday night, for the Saturday night here. The Police with Ghost in the Machine. I think over the year, this has been my favorite Police album. Because it's got Invisible Sun, which I love, and it's got Spirits in the Material World, which I love, and I mean, it's just a really great album. However, if you read about how it was made, it sounds awful. It sounds horrible. Tremendous band, yeah. Alan, I'm glad you're a fan. I'm a big fan of Belle and Sebastian. I've got just about, well, everything in triplicates. I've got things on CD, on vinyl, you know. JC668 likes The Police. I can't believe it. You keep surprising me, Chris, because you pull out references that you don't expect at all. Tonight, I also delved into Barry Adamson's Moss Side Story, an album from 1996 or 1990. No, sorry, 1988. 96. What am I doing here? Barry Adamson was a former member of Magazine, and as well as Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds, bass player. And this is basically kind of like library music. It's film music, basically, that he made. It's actually really wonderful. This is an original pressing, I believe. Moss Side Story. Beautiful. Hello, James Buttery. Thank you, my friend. Butters. Well, Butters, since you're here, you're looking. I was playing Mild Life just before. Geez, I love this record. This record is just the best record I've heard all year, without question. And in Mild Life related news, I am going on Friday night to see them live at the Nightcat in Melbourne. And Anthony Camplone will be there too, Campo. Originally, I bought a spare ticket for him, but his wife surprised him and bought him a ticket. So I have a spare ticket to go to Mild Life. And if there's any, if Gareth Fitzgerald, if you're watching, because I know you're in Melbourne, if you're after a ticket to a great gig, just drop me a line. Otherwise, I'm still seeing who can come, because I bought a ticket. James Buttery, if you were here, I would have given you the ticket. It's amazing. Now, I was talking about Barry Adamson a second ago, and I also got to revisit Magazine's Second-Hand Daylight. It's not the album that is talked about the most in the great Magazine discography. Magazine, if you don't know, but I mean, all of you are watching, Magazine, but anyway, I'm just babbling for the people, mostly for the people who are watching a video of mine for the first time or something, and they're not familiar. Post-punk band from Manchester, formed by Howard Devoto, who was also in the Buzzcocks. And this is a wonderful record, beautifully atmospheric, and yeah, just really powerful piece of music. I really love this. So Eats the Vinyl, checking in from a sailboat on Lake Michigan. Oh, interesting, you lucky man. Glowing Double Cabbage. Strangely, never see that police LP around. Oh, interesting. I also have the Double Live CD that you speak of. In a couple of post-rock records, the mighty Shiguros with their self-titled record. I think that's self-titled. I mean, Shiguros, what a band! Just completely evolving in their own universe. They're singing in their own made-up language. Beautiful, soaring vocals, layered guitars. I mean, it's just this is sublime, sublime, sublime. And then I was talking about post-rock, another sublime record in a different style. This is the mighty Directions in Music, classic post-rock LP from Chicago, from the Chicago School of Post-Rock, if you would say. This is an offshoot band of Tortoise. Speaking of Lake Michigan, and you've got John Coltrane 68 there from Chicago. This is a great, it's called Directions in Music. It's obviously a homage to Miles Davis' Directions in Music. And I think the great thing with post-rock is that it does marry elements of, jazz, notably sort of Electric Miles kind of period, elements of crap rock, and lots of layers of guitars, and this is a beautiful, it's no exception, it's a beautiful record with Bundy, Kay Brown, Doug Sharon, and James Warden. I think Doug Sharon was in Tortoise. Shigeru is so emotional. Yeah, indeed, very. Here is kind of like a post, it's not really, but it's got this sort of ambient quality. This is an Australian band, which is a wonderful, wonderful band called Not Drowning Waving. And this is the 1986 or 1985 album called The Little Desert. This is atmospheric, kind of a sort of post-punk that, draws on very impressionistic qualities. Imagine if, say, Brian Eno made a post-punk record. No, it's not really post-punk. It's kind of, it's kind of ambient with a pop sensibility, maybe you'd say. Wonderful, The Little Desert. Not Drowning Waving. Vincent Fayel. Bonjour, Vincent, de Bretagne. Oui, moi je suis de Franche-Comté, pas de Bretagne. Got any Australian crawl? Not really, no. I don't have any Australian crawl. Look, okay, how can I put it in a really nice way so that I don't offend anybody? I mean, look, I do offend people all the time. That's all right. I find Australian crawl to be a little bit middle of the road, personally. Not that I don't listen to middle of the road bands. I mean, I was talking about Police before and stuff, but I don't know. I think Australian crawl are a bit devoid of actual, profound artistic qualities. They've got a couple of good songs, but I just find them to be quite trite. I mean, there's a lot of really great Australian music from that time, and I've talked about it. If you think about the Sunny Boys and the Saints and the Go-Betweens and the Triffids and all that, these are great bands. This is where I would go. But James Buttery was a bit more blunt than me. If James Buttery comes and says this there, I would say pass on Australian crawl, Jeff. Yeah, that's what I was trying to say, more or less, in a sort of more diplomatic way. I wish my friend Mike Keddy was here, because I played this here, and I bought this record at Academy Records with Mike in New York, with Mike and Tony. And I played it tonight, and I freaking love this. This is a great, great piece of music. I mean, Arthur Russell, how do you define this guy? I mean, you couldn't really. Between mutant disco, you know, cello, folk music, you know, post-punk, like it just goes into this kind of like, you know, he's not quite sure what he wants to do, but he'll do everything, and he'll do everything really, really, really fucking well. And this is this is essential in my opinion. This, as in his catalog, calling out of context is amazing. Yeah, it's very, you know, at times abrasive, but yeah. I took the time to revisit The Monster, the Epic by one Kamasi Washington, who just released a new record, which I'm probably not going to get because, I mean, it's a 5 LP thing, and I was already struggling with this. I mean, you know, you get the, I mean, look, like everybody, I bought this, it came out, I bought it, I played it a bit, but it's just a lot to digest, and I don't think, maybe if I bought the new Kamasi, I'll probably buy the CD, you know, because it's probably easier to digest anyway. And cheaper as well. Bonjour Serge. But still, this is a wonderful record. I would recommend it to people in the VC. It's a beautiful record that I dig it. You know, if you've heard enough Pharoah Sanders records and enough John Coltrane records and enough Sun Ra, you probably heard this. Let's face it. But I found a copy of the Church Still Kilby's Earth, all instrumental. I haven't heard it per se. I've heard of it, but yeah, Still Kilby certainly. I'm a big fan of the Church. I love the Church, but I haven't heard the album itself. I know of it. When Mike and I met up in Portland, I thought his hat was a Domino's Pizza hat. No, Arthur Russell. True boring story. Fantastic. I love your style, man. Okay, I'll try to make some foray into this vinyl crate, but I don't think I'll be able to. Right, well, I'm not going to too much. I was saying at the start of the video, if you missed the start, I've had some really, really annoying, really fucking annoying issues with my cartridge. I decided to upgrade an Autophone 2M Blue to an Autophone 2M Black, and it just ended up in disaster because the 2M Black that they sold me is defective. It's got distortion, a huge amount of distortion. So I was trying this record because it's kind of like a reference record in terms of sound. It sounds really good, and on this it sounded great because the thing with the defective cartridge that I've got is that it's not defective right on. You know, when it gets a bit hot, you know, like after maybe 2 or 3 records, it's just everything gets distorted. It's very strange. But this is, I mean, Fleetwood Mac, one of Sarah's favorite records, and I always enjoy playing it because it reminds me of her. I also tried, again, this is more to hear the cartridge. Asia, Still Then, which is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful record. Really, if you're still dissing on Still Then and you think they're a pedestrian band and they're just not worth it, I think again this is an absolutely magnificent record. Really, really inspired. I think, in my opinion, beautiful. Asia, especially with its opening 2 or 3 tracks, Black Cow, Asia, Deacon Blue, Blues, Deacon Blues. Yes, love Asia. Asia is wonderful. I was also trying this on my cartridge just to hear it, and this is where I realized things were going to go really, really pear-shaped. On Michelle, now this is a really nice, you know, it's Beatles in mono and it's pristine. It sounds good, you know. It's very, very. When I was listening to this, Michelle just got completely ruined. It's awful. Awful, awful. So it's terrible because the dude at the store sort of didn't quite believe me, but you know, it's a shit. Yeah. Gareth Fitzpatrick, if you're listening to me right now, I have a spare ticket to go to Mild Life on Friday. If you are interested, it was a very cheap ticket. If you're interested, let me know. If you're not interested, I'm just offering. But I know you're in Melbourne, and if you like Mild Life as much as I like them, then come along and you get a ticket. Otherwise, it's too bad. You'll miss out on a great show. Friday night at the Nightcat. This Friday coming. I was also, I'm going here, Gareth. So I'm happy to spare a ticket, and I can meet you then. Anyway, as I explained in the video before, I bought the ticket for Campo, Anthony Campo, but he'd already bought one, so I ended up with a spare ticket. This is On the Beach by Neil Young, my favorite Neil Young album. Should be everyone's favorite Neil Young album. And the Cartridge sounded like absolute shit on this. It was just the opening track it sounded like the LP was warped. It was that bad, on Walk On, the opening track. It was just terrible. Great plot through Saturday there. Sneak a peek whilst at work. Yes. What do you think of the church now? I haven't considered the question, Ian Haig. No, I haven't considered the question. Finally able to find Mark. Hello, Paul, XL Junkie. Oh, sorry, X Junkie NL. Yes, we're going to watch them live. That'd be good. Cool. All right, Gareth. If you want, ticket's yours. We'll, drop me a line or something. We'll arrange something. This is the thumbnail of the video, John Martin. Now, this I played a lot with the new cartridge because, you could hear very clearly that the cartridge was going wrong on this. It was sort of like so distorted. And nonetheless, this is a wonderful album, regardless of how bad it sounded with my new cartridge, which I'm going to get changed, or either I'm going to get that's $1,000 at cartridge. They need to give me either the money back or replace it entirely because it's not good enough. But we'll see next week what they can do. This is a wonderful, wonderful LP. Everybody should own this record, Solid Air by John Martin. Just like one of these sort of classic singer-songwriters record. What can you say? Now, I was talking about the Mac before, and I also sampled this. I just love Tusk. I think Tusk it's just an epically great album, over 4 sides, and it's got my favorite Fleetwood Mac song, which is Sarah, obviously. Yes, but I also dig a lot of songs from Rumors. Let me take a sip of this. I was going to buy the Abbey Road Pressing 45. Yeah, apparently this Abbey Road Pressing 45 RPM is the shit. It's very, very good. So Anthony Camplone tells me. But don't believe everything he says. A love supreme, a love supreme, a love supreme. It's probably the only jazz track that you can sing in the world. I mean, I'm not talking about vocal jazz. I'm just talking normal jazz. Like, this is the only jazz tune where you just know the melody in your head without even. I mean, can anybody sing, for example, any Electric Miles? You can sing So What for sure, the bass line, but this is like a the most recognizable. What I mean, again, I mean, all the records that I've just showed, the last 5 or 10 records, you know, between Rumors and this, they're all records that everybody should own. I think there's no, you know, I mean, am I saying anything controversial here? Probably not. Everybody should own them. Everybody should. Well, you know, I was talking about the bass line of So What. Yeah, I was again. This was just to test. I didn't play the whole of this. I was just testing the cartridge because you can really tell, and it's a good pressing of it. And I wanted to hear. Yes, Jean Martin. Yeah, yeah. Shame it ended. Yeah, the documentary is fantastic. Girl from Ipanema, singing Fred. Well, yeah, but that's not really jazz. I mean, well, it's a bossa track. I mean, you know, you can sing bossa. And Love Supreme. Love it. I was talking about Belle and Sebastian, one of my favorite bands in the world. I know they're so twee and so, you know, but there's something that I love about the tweeness of Belle and Sebastian. You know, they're sort of kitchen sink stories, and you can totally relate to it. They hit me at a point in my life, in my early 20s, where, you know, I just never heard music like that. And this is their first record, Tiger Milk. This is the first record I ever heard from them. I came across Belle and Sebastian in 1999, no, 98. Whenever that was reissued. This was issued in 96 the first time, and then they reissued it on CD. I think it was in 98 or 99. Kind of feeling it was 98. Anyway, I bought the reissue in 98, and I just never heard anything like it. And I just think their songs are just so. In fact, one of these songs here was at my wedding. My wandering days are over. At our wedding, it was played. Wonderful. Okay, where am I going? We've talked about this, we've talked about this, we've talked about that. I'll take a sip. This new cartridge, yeah, but Paul, a new cartridge that works. Mine doesn't work at all. It's just a piece of crap. It's just like my 2M black, you know. As I said, it's $1,000 worth of a cartridge. Doesn't work. So on Monday I'll have to take it back, and, you know, either I exchange it and they give me another black that works, which would be the best outcome for all this, or, you know, I'm just happy to get back, because I still got my 2M blue. Just change the stylus on it. Fuck it, you know, it worked really well. Who knows? I mean, who am I to say? I don't know. I've revisited this. This is wonderful. Nico Gomez and his percussion, Afro percussion incorporated. There's a bit of booby there. Be careful. I might be a bit barred by YouTube. You know, why not? You know, such a rebel there. And this is the reissue that came out on whatever. Maybe it's a Mr. Bongo thing, you know, or is it Mr. Bongo reissue? I don't know. I think it is, possibly. This is a very expensive record to buy if you want to buy this record as an original. And for all its Latin looks, this is an LP that was conceived and made by a bunch of Belgian dudes. And they don't look like that. They're as white as this, but they made a really great. Yeah, it's a great record. Love the sleeve. I love the face paint. It's amazing. Yeah, this is a great record. Great funky record. Afro Latin, beautiful. From Belgium. Okay. Again, oh yeah. Well, anyway. Towns, Van Zandt, Van Zandt, Van Zandt. I'm going crazy tonight. You can see, this is what loneliness will do to you. You start talking to yourself a little bit more, and then you're sitting listening to Belle and Sebastian and reinventing the world. This is a wonderful record. Everybody should own this record, just for songs like For the Sake of the Song or Waiting Around to Die. What a fucking song. What pressing is that of the Gomez? Well, I think it's a Mr. Bongo. I'm not sure. Got the impression I bought it when they released it. I don't know. I can't remember. I can't tell you. This is what it says there. It says Holy Grail. Well, I'll tell you what, Gareth. Is there a catalog number on this? You can Discogs the catalog number. Oh, well, actually, go on Discogs. You'll find it. You'll find this. Yeah, it's not hard. Waiting Around to Die. Waiting Around to Die. I'll be here in the morning. Fantastic. Same. I mean, yeah, they're all classics. I mean, it's a bit like it's a classics week. This week, it's just classic record upon classic record. Yes, when I got the new cartridge, I was so eager to play all these records. That this is what I did. I just pulled out records that I knew really well. I thought, well, I know this record really well. I'll hear how it sounds, and I was like this. Mr. Bongo. Wow, everything about this. The sleeve, the pose, the shoes. The Guild guitar. The purple and pink layouts. Just killer. And there's Northern Sky on this, and Northern Sky is the best fucking Drake song, hands down. It's like he's put everything, like the whole of his talent is sort of compressed into that one song. I reckon it's just amazing. Northern Sky, with a bit of Celeste from Mr. John Cale. I couldn't pass for one of them because, well, I'm too hairy to start with. Look at me. I've got the hipster beard going. But this is a great record. Kruder and Dorfmeister. No, I'm just kidding. Simon Garfunkel. Because Kruder and Dorfmeister have done this sleeve as a sort of a pastiche tribute. And I always talk about songs that I like in albums, because that's what I think that's what hooks me to albums. There's sometimes one or two songs, and if you think about it, and I think I have thought about this many times. What makes a great album? What is a great album? Often, great album, you just need 3 great songs, and then that's my theory. You need 3 great songs, and then maybe 7 good songs. It's a bit like a winning sporting team. You don't need 10 superstars on the team. You just need maybe 2 superstars, or sometimes 1 superstar is enough, and then 10 other good players, and you can you have a leader there that just pushes you. Well, I think this is the case for albums like this one. America is my superstar numero uno, and I'd say, well, it's got Mrs. Robinson on it. It's got A Hazy Shade of Winter, which I really love, and it's got At the Zoo, which I really love. So this is a great album because it's got 2 or 3 great songs. Yeah, Fly is beautiful. You are right. Bowie's version of America. I don't think I've heard it. The Bowie's, or maybe I have. Maybe is it on the covers album? Anyway, yeah, 10 Superstars doesn't work. On our right, Mr. Paul. Paul, that's right. I think my theory works. And to finish with, I've got 3 more records to show you. 2 Brazilian classics. I mean, every house should come fitted with one of these. The mighty, mighty Chico Buarque. Chico Buarque. Construção. Wow, what an album. This is an original. I think it could possibly be an original Argentine press. I don't know why I'm saying this. I've got the impression that's where I got it from. But it could be an original Brazilian press. But it's one of them. Philips. This is the shit. And the Bowie version. Yeah, so I've never heard it. No, I thought maybe it might have been on Pinups, but no, it's not. Yeah, it's because he covered lots of songs on that. And it's an album that I play very often, to be honest. I remember his version of the Easy Beats, Friday on My Mind, rather than anything else. Yeah, Chico Buarque. Fantastic. Like, this is just one of the top 10 Brazilian records of all time. Easily. Maybe even top 5. Who knows? And this here is not top 10 Brazil, but maybe top 20. Africa, Brazil. George Benjor. This is just amazing. Just get this for the opening track. Ponta de Lanta Africano. Umbabaroma. Fantastic. A song about football. I was talking about football a second ago, but having one superstar, and well, this is the ultimate football anthem is on there. It's the opening track, Umbabaroma, by George Ben. What a song! When he says jogador, talks about football players. Yes. That segue, yes, you're right. So good. And this here also has got Taj Mahal, which is a song that's what's his face? Rod Stewart stole from George Ben. Well, apparently he got sued and lost. Taj Mahal. Do you think I'm sexy? It's like when George Harrison lost to the Chiffons over My Sweet Lord. It's funny because you'd think, well, you don't have to actually copy anything. I mean, like, you could come up with a melody that was exactly the same as another melody by accident. I mean, guitar's got 6 strings. You play, you start singing to yourself. I know I've written songs before, and unconsciously you've just anyway. Digress. And the last record that I've got in my hands is the wonderful Sixto Rodriguez, Detroit Legend at his best. They're not cheap, those to buy anymore. This is the best of that was issued in Australia, or best of, like, compilation of his first 2 records. You can see it's got the sleeve, that sort of mimics his first 2 records. And yeah, Crucify You Man, Sugar Man, Instant Blues, I Wonder. What an artist. I mean, just to think it was completely undiscovered until recently. That blows my mind in so many ways. Fantastic. So Gareth, if you're still here and you want that wildlife ticket or something. Maybe pop me. Maybe find me on Google Plus. Big Star 1000. Add me as a friend on Google Plus. We'll do that because because we all have to have Google. Once you're on YouTube, you have to have Google Plus, and I use it with Campo and James Battery on a forum. So Gareth, yes, add me as a friend on Google Plus and send me your mobile phone number or something or whatever, or I'll email you or what have you, and we'll find a time and place to meet and blah blah blah. Because yes, Taj Mahal, yes. Have I heard the Rodriguez live album for 79? No, I have not. Yes, Gareth. Yeah, Africa Brazil's got Taj Mahal on it, indeed. Ripped off by Rod Stewart. I was talking about it just before, yes. There you go, this one here. It's got Taj Mahal. It's the last side one. And ripped off by Roddy Stewart. A cheeky bastard he was. He lost some money there. Good on George Ben, though, because, you know, you probably need more than Rod Stewart. Rod Stewart was probably, you know, snorting cocaine of the butt crack of some hooker somewhere at so he didn't really profoundly care, probably. I don't know. Did I just say that on camera? Yes, I did. Doesn't matter. I'm not offending anybody, am I? Jeez. Anyway, so Gareth, did you hear that instruction that I gave you to add me as a friend on Google Plus, Big Star 1000? Yes, c'est moi. That's me. And then we will find a place to meet and so on and so forth. Because I've got le ticket for Mad Life. Starts at 10. I think it's 10 to 3 o'clock in the morning, I think. Insane. That'd be good. Be good. It's making us laugh. Yes, I'm making myself laugh because I'm just talking shit. It promises to be a good gig, and it's cool because it's kind of my you know, it's my birthday next weekend. So, you know, not next weekend, but the following week. But so it's good to have that to go to. It's like a mad life of throwing a birthday party for me, almost, as it were. So, people, unless you get other things that you want to discuss, I'm happy to discuss whatever you want. I'm going to read the comments that were left for me just before. As a 2M Black owner, Stuntman Mitch, myself, get that thing working right, and you will be amazed. Big jump from the blue. Well, I hope you're right, because so far I've not been impressed by what it sounded like. I mean, what I've noticed is that there's way more gain. Like the cartridge is louder than my previous. You can hear it straight away. It's sort of like, it's very big. But yes, it's distorted and it shits me because it's an expensive cartridge. Well, it's not. I mean, I considered moving coil too, because 2M Black is a moving magnet, and I could use a moving coil simply because my new amplifier, my new Yamaha amplifier, has got a moving coil function on it, and I could switch it to moving coil. And moving coil orthophone is only $200 more, which is, it's not a world of difference there. It's not. But there's a world of difference sonically speaking. However, it's a bit fiddly moving coil, and you know, I don't know if I wanted to get there yet. You know, I'm a bit of a noob, you know. So I will buy beer. Well, Gareth, sadly for you, you can't buy me a beer because I don't drink alcohol. Are you sad to hear this? You can buy me a lemon, lime, and bitters. I'll be quite happy with that. One or two. It's a bizarre thing, is it? I must be the only Frenchman in the world not drinking alcohol right now. Anyway, I'm talking crap. But as I said, if people want to talk about something, or discuss or whatever, or I can pull out some CDs. Here is Stop Making Sense by the Talking Heads. No. Here is Talon Shads. You heard of Talon Shad? It's a progressive Australian band. I haven't played this for ages, but they play prog. Let's play you a bit of Talon Shad, just to waste a bit of your time and my time. What am I doing anyway? Talon Shad. Talon Shads. Let's have a look. Talon Shad. Some Australian prog. The Man of Mowax. Yeah. Documentary on Mr. Lavelle, no problem. It would be good. Good to see. He's a genius. I mean, just the fact that he got DJ Shadow out. Fantastic. The Talon Shad track is not great. I'll tell you what I'll do. I will play you a track by, instead of Talon Shad, maybe we can go for I don't know. What's on this compilation? Cars and Lotus, Master Apprentices, Tully. Tully's a good band. Piranha. Oh yeah, Piranha. That'd be a heavy track. What albums from 1980 will be regarded as classics? Wow, big question. Actually, I'm in front of my iTunes. It just helped me to think. From 1980 today, I don't know. I'm looking at my iTunes, right? Just purely. How about Moon Safari by Air? That's a classic already. It's already a classic. What else? What else will be considered a bona fide classic? I don't know. It's a good. These are good questions. To me, I mean, an album like Teen Dream by Beach House, it's already a classic. Sea Change by Beck, that's a classic if I've ever heard one. Sea Change by Beck, that's a classic if I've ever heard one. I'm just looking on my iTunes. What else? Anything by Björk, debut, post, they'll be considered classic. I'm sure. I'm certain. Boys of Canada, Music Has the Right to Children. That'll be a classic for sure. I See a Darkness by Bonnie Prince Billy. But they're kind of indie classics, they're buried treasures, if you will. Things, albums by Broadcast, like Tender Buttons. Albums by what have we got here? Caribou. This is tons of them, I reckon. I mean, in my opinion, I'm gonna make a big statement that's gonna just sound like I've lost my mind. I'm lost the plot, but I reckon Parachutes by Coldplay will be a classic. I mean, it's already a classic in my opinion. That first album they just nailed it. I don't know why I'm saying this right this second, but I think they just got all of the best songs and they were not a wanky stadium band at the time. They were just like a little band. I fucking hate Yellow. I think Yellow is the worst song in the world. But the other 9 songs are just brilliant. Spies and Shiver, and what a great album. How about, if you look at the 80s, what about albums of the Cocktail Twins? They'd be classics. They're already classics. I mean, you know, where are we kidding here? What about, I mean, hip-hop albums that came from, you know, what about Illmatic by Nas, or The Chronic by Dr. Dre, or yes, introducing DJ Shadow, Dilla Donuts. There's just so many of them that will be classics. I mean, I'm sure, or maybe, I don't know, maybe I've lost the plot. You know, I think my beloved Go-Betweens, 16 Lovers Lane is already a classic, let alone in 20 years' time. I mean, it really is. Foxes in the Fire. No, I haven't had a chance to listen to it. But since you put it in the comments, you know, why not? Where's the rest of the chat? The chat has disappeared. Anyway. Vincent Fayel. As you are in Melbourne, I think yes. What do you have to have Francis Blind? I don't know. I don't have any opinion because I haven't thought about it. See, I don't know. You know, prove that I don't know everything. Far from it. I don't know these people, Francis Blind and Andrew Chalk and these people. I will profess my ignorance. Anyway, 1 hour. So I'm going to stop here and leave you and love you. And Gareth, be a good boy. Send me that message. See you, VC.